So again, I'm happy to see that actually also in our session where people from different disciplines, domains, medical doctors, policymakers, biologists, ecologists, and veterinarians, or historians also. So what was raised for zoonosis, actually we organized the session divided mainly in three. We wanted to tackle three topics. First, to give a generalities on zoonosis and drivers. Then we focused on surveillance, and then what was policy controls. And actually we wanted to drive discussion by tackle this structure. So we finally ended up that we we could tackle only 2 of the 5 questions we prepared. So the 2 questions were actually expertise on zoonotic disease is fragmented. How should we, do we need for a federation? I stay with it, with the question. I will come back what was the output of the discussion. And then whether we could put a prioritization of diseases. So during the discussion, actually, we come back. There was already a biological diversity in the definition of zoonotic diseases. So it was already a raising question in the session. Then after a certain while, we actually come back and say, actually, what we are doing here, come back to the initial objective, which is One Health. So what we are going to raise here in the session could be tackled for zoonotic diseases, but could be extended also to vectorial disease or microbiotic session. So we came back to our definition of One Health. So the problem is, how can we work together? Already was biological diversity in the definition. Shall we could call it federation? Shall we create a platform, a consortium, a network, whatever you call it? We want to work together, but if we want to work together, we need to actually identify where we can work together and to show what is the added value to work together, and this to let the decision maker that this added values is a value, so that must to be sustained. Then there were issues concerning funding. Effectively, it is difficult to raise, to channel funding for multidisciplinary study, but sometimes funding exists at the moment of the epidemic. So I heard another word which was coming out from our session 2 is funding should be more proactive. So it should be raised. Yes, should be raised on a preventive way before actually any epidemics could occur. And then, funding should be also focused and in understanding the ecology and the biology of the pathogen. So this line of research should be also taken into account. But of course, putting in practice research results in case of zoonotic disease could interact with private interests, which can jeopardize actually the results. Then other problem is communication. We should involve the public also in the research subject. So the public must be involved. Also, there was an issue of data sharing. Actually, we all talk about the sharing, but it's very difficult to do it in reality and put it in practice because of individual factors. And then when we tackled the area of prioritization of zoonotic diseases, well, there were different points of view. So people raising prioritization, other not. So we still, also because prioritization is defined by OMS or other institutions, other funding bodies. So whether it is this the point or not, there were different points of view. And then we should not forget, in case of zoonotic disease, is the human activity, what actually man can induce actually the zoonotic disease. So we should not forget trading and movement of people which create actually occasion for diseases. One general outcome which came out is that will be targeted to EU is that whether we can, by this workshop, create the ground for a common proposal for an EU funding in a way of multidisciplinary research. I'm a messenger. I'm not.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Okay, thank you.